it's Ace and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a little yarn review. As many of you know, I've been crocheting for a few months now, and I've been trying out all different yarns and patterns and just really having fun. I use crochet as a form of stress and anxiety relief. And so today we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk you through the Red Heart Unforgettable yarn. I have a love-hate relationship with this yarn. It is actually one of the first yarns that I used. It's actually the first yarn that I had a finished object out of. I made a cowl, and that's where I had so many extra, like I added stitches and deleted stitches, and so it was just a hot mess. And you know, this yarn is kind of hit and miss, just because it is the roving style yarn. And so I'm gonna put in some clips and do some voiceover here and go into greater detail on the yarn. Let's get into the yarn review for the Red Heart Unforgettable. So this is the Red Heart Unforgettable yarn, and it comes in a bunch of different colorways. As you can see, it's a roving style yarn, and it has quite a bit of halo on the yarn, which is nice. It makes it nice and fluffy and really comfortable in wearing your finished object. The yarn is a number 4 weight yarn, so like a DK weight yarn, medium weight yarn, and it is 100% acrylic, and it's machine washable and dryable, and it recommends a 6mm crochet hook, which is what I typically used on it. So as I mentioned earlier, it is a roving style yarn, which means that there could be some variation in the thickness of the yarn, which is probably one of my biggest complaints on the yarn. There were times in my finished objects that it felt like it was lace weight, and then it could get something as thick as you know, a bulky 5 number weight yarn. And so that's something to take in mind when you're like building out your project and doing your gauge. You might have to accommodate in some way, whether that's your yarn hook or you know, perhaps a different stitch or something like that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. I think one of the big things that I really loved about this yarn is the self-striping aspect. As a new crocheter, new to crochet, I really like not having to think about color work, color blocking, anything like that. And so as you can see with this shawl that I made up with the Unforgettable yarn, it all the colors go really well together. So they did a really great job at the kind of all the colorways, and they blend in pretty seamlessly. I imagine it could depend on the pattern, but this pattern for this shawl blended in really seamlessly. I was trying to see if I could find a spot where you could notice some of the more thicker aspects of it, but it's, you know, it ends up being harder to tell in the finished product. And so I guess that works itself out, and so perhaps those thick and thin sections you don't really notice in the workup of the project, but it's something that was frustrating for me as I was doing the project. So what do you think about Unforgettable? Have you tried it before? What has your experience been on the yarn? What have you made out of it? I'd love to know. I still have a bunch of the Red Heart Unforgettable, so I will definitely be using it quite a bit more. So if you have any suggestions on what I could make out of it, I'd greatly appreciate it. You can put in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel. You will be alerted when I upload new videos. I upload on Sundays and Wednesdays, and I'm just a beginner having fun, playing with yarn, crocheting, and just taking you along on my journey. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.